Good morning, Trojan fans. We're kicking off our first tournament game at Spain Park. We'll be playing Austin High School out of Decatur. We got 3 teams that will be playing in our pool play. We'll be playing Austin at 9 o'clock. This is our 9 o'clock game. We'll play Calera at 11 o'clock, and we'll play the #1 ranked Jasper High School team at 1 o'clock. Decatur. Both teams prepare to greet each other at the net. And we're probably about 2 minutes from game time. As high school volleyball facilities go, this is probably the best that we have ever seen. It's like a college campus here at Spain Park. Very well done, very well laid out. We're in what they call the lower gym, which is a double court, full-size court, and it's recessed into the ground about 20 feet. Really, really nice facility. The Trojans are going to start off this set with Kathleen Wright, Lizanne Livings, Bailey Williams, Emily Poundstone, Carson Ann Crow, and Emily Olsey. Check that. Marilee Capulla will come in for Lizanne Livings on the front row. St. James will be serving first. Emily Poundstone, #10, serving for St. James. Nice serve on the right side. Ball's out. Ace to Poundstone. Good communication by the Trojans over on the right side. Score St. James 1, Austin 0. Service error for the Trojans. Evens the score at 1-1. Trojans still hadn't figured out a way to stop the service errors. Austin serving to St. James. Ball comes in, played by Carson Ann Crow. Over to Poundstone. Poundstone to Olsey on the left side. Austin digs the ball up. Free ball over to St. James, played by Carson Ann Crow. To Poundstone. Olsey in the middle, tipped over the defense. Austin gets the ball back over to Carson Ann Crow, back on the left corner to Poundstone to Olsey. Austin hustle play, free ball to St. James, played by Carson Ann Crow. Over to Poundstone, Kathleen Wright on the right side, tips it over the block. Ball's gotten up by Austin, and a error on the Austin defense gives St. James a 2-1 lead. Marilee Capulla, #7, serving for St. James. Nice serve to the middle of the Austin defense. Tipped over the block. The St. James block. Point for Austin. That evens the score at 2-2. Austin serving to St. James. Ball comes in. Service error by Austin. Point for St. James. Good communication again by the Trojans. #8, Alan Browning back serving for St. James. Nice floater serve back to the defense of Austin. Ball set up to double hit that's not called. And that's a lift that is called. Error on Austin gives St. James their 4th point. St. James now leading 4-2. Browning serving for St. James. Nice serve on the right side. That's an ace for Browning. Point for St. James. St. James now leading Austin 5-2. Browning serves the ball, floater serve into the middle of the Austin defense. That ball's out. That's an ace, another ace for Browning. St. James now leading Austin 6-2. Browning serves it in, back to the back right side of the Austin defense. Free ball again for St. James. Played by Browning over to Poundstone. Carson and Crow on the left side. Nice attack. Ball comes back over, played by Carson and Crow to Poundstone. Poundstone to Olsey. Pushed over the net. We got a line violation on Austin. Point for St. James. St. James leading now 7-2. Just to give you guys a heads up, we're close quarters up here on the bleachers, so you may see somebody walking in front. Browning serves the ball in to the Austin defense. Ball's blocked up by Olsey. Olsey sets the ball up for Carson and Crow. Austin defense gets the ball up. And they hit the ball into the net. Another point for St. James. St. James now leading 8-2. Browning serves the ball in for St. James to the middle of the Austin defense. Overpass gift for Carson and Crow. That's a kill for Crow. That's her first kill of the match. St. James benefited from an overpass on the Austin defense. St. James leading now 9-2. Browning serves the ball into the back row. Austin defense. Roll played by Bailey Williams to Emily Poundstone. Tipped at the line. Emily Capulla with a kill. A point for St. James that now leads Austin 10-2. Browning serves the ball in. Floater serve in the middle. Played by Austin. Pushes the ball over. Played to Poundstone. Poundstone to Olsey. That's a kill by Olsey. She hammers the ball down. Nicely set up by the St. James offense. They now lead 11-2 over Austin. Timeout Austin. Score on the court is 11-2. Not a lot of offensive statistics for the Trojans. Carson Ann Crow has 1 kill. Marilee Capulla has 1 kill. Emily Olsey has 1 kill. Alan Browning has 2 blocks, and Emily Poundstone has, Alan Browning has 2 aces. Emily Poundstone has an ace. The Trojans take the court in. Austin defense takes the court. Ball splits it in. Browning serving for St. James. Serve comes in to the right side of the Austin defense. Hustle over, roll over to St. James. Played by Browning to Poundstone. She tips it over. Over to Marilee Capulla to Poundstone. Carson and Crow in the middle. Austin team hustles it back over to Bailey Williams, over to Olsey, hits the ball back in the back right corner. Played up by Austin, roll the ball over, played by Carson Ann Crow to Emily Poundstone, back to Crow. That's another kill for Carson Ann Crow. That's 2 for her. Poundstone put it on a tee for her. She hammers the ball down. St. James leading now 12-2. Browning serves the ball in to the left side. Serve. Free ball to St. James. Pushed to Marilee Capulla. Over to Poundstone. Poundstone to Crow. She tips it over the defense. Austin gets the ball back over to St. James on a free ball. Played by Marilee Capulla. Emily Poundstone to Olsey. Attack error by St. James gives Austin a side out and a point. St. James leading Austin now 12-3. Number 12 for Austin back serving to St. James. Serve comes in, played by Carson and Crow. Over to Emily Poundstone, back sets to Crow in the middle, and that's another kill. Nice back set by Emily Poundstone. Set up Crow nicely. Side out St. James. St. James leading now 13-3. Number 16, Emily Olsey, back serving for St. James. Nice serve down the right side line. Austin sets up their offense. The ball's out. Error on the attack for Austin. Point for St. James. It now leads 14-3. Olsey still back serving for St. James on your back right corner of the screen. Ball comes into the middle of the Austin defense. They set up their attack. We got a line violation on Austin. They give St. James a point. St. James now leading 15-3. Olsey serves the ball in to the back of the Austin defense. They set their attack up in the middle. It's tipped up by Bailey Williams to Carson Ann Crow. Back set by Olsey to Ashley White. That's a kill for Ashley White. Beautiful back set by Emily Olsey. Sets the ball back up. St. James leading now 16-3. Perfectly executed play by the St. James offense. Olsey serves the ball to the back left corner. That's an ace for Olsey. The Austin defender played off her forearm out of bounds. St. James leading now 17-3. Olsey still serving for St. James. Ball comes into the back left corner. Pushed up by Austin setter. Bailey Williams gets the ball back over the net for St. James. Played by Marilee Capulia to Olsey to Crow. Tips it over the defense. Another kill for Carson Ann Crow. Tips the ball over. Austin defenders were at the net. Smart play by Crow to tip it over. St. James leading now 18-3. Olsey serves the ball into the middle of the Austin defense. Overpass. That's a gift for Bailey Williams that hammers the ball down. Point for St. James. Bailey Williams in the right place at the right time. Plays the overpass for a kill. St. James leading Austin now 19-3. Olsey serves, comes into the back of the Austin defense. St. James blockers over to the right. There's an attack error by Austin, giving St. James their 20th point. St. James leading now 20-3. Olsey serves off. Service error. Thought it was going to get over the net. Olsey serves the ball into the net for a service error. Side out Austin. Point for Austin. St. James leading now 20-4. Ball comes in, played by Alan Browning. Pushes it to Olsey at the net. Marilee Capulia attacks the ball. Ball's long. Attack error on St. James. Gives Austin their 5th point. St. James still leads 20-5 in this first set. Serve comes in, played by Carson Ann Crow over to Olsey. Back sets to Crow. Ball hit off the block and out of bounds. Point to St. James. That's Carson Ann Crow's 5th kill of the set. St. James leading now 21-5. Is number 13. Carson Ann Crow goes back to the middle, the left side of the back corner to serve. Crow serves the ball into the middle of the Austin defense. Sets the ball back up. Ball's hammered down the line by the Austin attacker. Gives them their 6th point. Side out to Austin. Score St. James 21, Austin 6. Ball comes in. Played by Bailey Williams to Emily Olsey. Back set to Ashley White. Hammers the ball right in the chest of the defender for Austin. Kill for St. James. Hit the ball down hard. Side out to St. James. St. James leading now 22-6. Number 14, Bailey Williams back serving for St. James. Hits a floater serve back to the back. Oh, that's an ace for Bailey Williams. Austin defenders couldn't get the ball back over the net. St. James leading now 23-6. Williams serves the ball back into the back left of the Austin defense. Roll shot for the Austin defender. Hits it long, 24-6. St. James set point. Bailey Williams serving for the set. Nice floater serve over to the middle of the Austin defense. They set up their attack. Block. Oh, it's off the block. Off Ashley White's block and back onto St. James court for a point for Austin. Side out. Scores now, St. James 24, Austin 7. Austin serves the ball back in, played by Bailey Williams. Emily Olsey, Ashley White with a kill. St. James takes the first set. That's Ashley White's third kill of the set. St. James wins the first set, 25-7. St. James historically has played the Austin High School team. The most recent time we played them in the Muscle Shoals tournament last year. These matches are a best 2 out of 3, with the third set playing to 15. The Trojans' next match will be against Calera as time's rolling. They're scheduled to play at 11 o'clock.
Oh, it's 3, 2, 1. Go. Okay, no, something left.
Teams break their huddle. Down ref ready to check their lineups. Austin takes the court. St. James breaks their huddle. In this second set, St. James starts with Kathleen Wright, Ashley White, Emily Olsey, Marilee Kapuya, Bailey Williams, and Carson Ann Crow.
Are y'all ready? Yes, I'm coming to last.
Down ref checks the Trojans lineup.
Is there music delay?
The Austin High School lineup is checked. Their libero comes in. And we're playing ball. Austin High School will start out serving to St. James. St. James in the near side court. Serve comes in. Ball's played by Carson Ann Crow. Pushes it to Emily Elsey. Back set to Ashley White. Ashley White hammers it off the block and down onto the Austin side for a point for St. James. That's Ashley White's 4th kill of the match. Emily Poundstone, number 10, comes back to serve for St. James. Serve comes in to the left side of the Austin defense. They set up their attack. A double hit that's actually called. Double hit on the setter for Austin gives St. James their second point. They lead Austin now 2-0. Poundstone serves the ball to the back right corner of the Austin defense. They set up their attack. The ball's pushed for the block. Played by Poundstone. Bailey Williams sets up Marilee Kapuya on the left side. Austin gets the ball up. Ball's blocked at the net, dug up by Poundstone. Bailey Williams sets up Kapuya again. Nice attack. The Austin defense gets it up, and then she hammers it into the bleachers. That's a long attack. 3rd point for St. James. I think she got a little excited on the back row kill. Scores 3-0 St. James. Poundstone serves the ball into the back right corner for Austin. Ball set up, rolled, dug up nicely by Carson Ann Crow to Poundstone. Marilee Kapuya The ball's attacked, hit wide, side out to Austin. St. James now leads Austin 3-1. Very nice play by Carson and Crow to dig the ball up off the floor. Austin's server comes in, serves, played by Carson and Crow to Emily Poundstone. Back to Crow. Nice attack to the middle. Austin sets up their offense. Ball's blocked by Wright over to Poundstone to Capulla. Off the block and out of bounds. Point to St. James. Kill for Mary Lee Capulla. That's her second kill of the match. St. James leads 4-1. Number 7, Mary Lee Capulla, back serving for St. James. Nice hard serve to the back of. That's an ace. Capulla with her first ace of the match. Point for St. James. She hit a knuckleball back to the libero for the Austin defense. Good handle. St. James up 5-1. Capulla with another nice serve over. Austin sets up their offense. Ball's blocked at the net by Olsey and Carson and Crow with a block at the net. Point for St. James. Timeout for Austin. St. James leads in the second set 6-1. St. James breaks huddle. Mary Lee Capulla with the ball. Ready to serve. Waiting on the Austin team to take the court. Plays whistled in. Austin takes the court. Down ref. Symbols timeouts. Sends the ball into play. Capulla serve for St. James. Set up their offense. Oh, that was a nice attack by the Austin attacker. She hit it off Olsey's block. Point for Austin. Very nice play set up by Austin. Score now St. James 6, Austin 2. Serve comes into St. James, and that came into St. James coach Karen Lee. Nice catch. You didn't get to see that, but that was a service area point for St. James. Karen Lee made a nice catch at the end of the bench. St. James up 7-2 with Alan Browning serving for St. James. Ball comes in, served to the middle of the Austin defense. Set up to their attacker on the left side. It's pushed over the block, played by Poundstone. Browning pushes it over to Crow. She taps it over the line. Ball's dug up by Browning, pushed by Bailey Williams to the middle. Olsey into the block. Kill for Emily Olsey. She pushed it into the Austin blockers and down on their side. Point for St. James. It now leads 8-2. Browning, number 8, serving for St. James. So floater serve barely over the net. That's an ace. Ace for Browning. That's her third ace. Point for St. James. St. James leading now 9-2. Alan Browning serves the ball in to the right corner of the Austin defense. Ball set up, back set, double hit, not called. Play by Browning to Poundstone. Poundstone to Crow. Point to Austin on a double hit by St. James. Side out. St. James leads Austin now 9-3. Floater serve comes in. That's an ace. Point for Austin. Nobody wanted to play the ball for St. James. They just let it fall inbounds. Nice floater serve by the ace. That's by the Austin server. St. James leading 9-4. Another floater serve comes in, played by Olsey. Pushes it to Poundstone. Poundstone to Crow. Ball pushed up by the Austin defender. Free ball to St. James. Played by Browning. Pushes it to Poundstone. Poundstone over to Olsey. Taps it over the block. Nobody there. Point for St. James. The Austin defender hit the ball in the net. St. James leading now 10-4. Number 16, Olsey, back serving for St. James as Ashley White comes in for Emily Poundstone. Ball called into play. Olsey serves the ball barely over the net. Nice serve to the back right side. Point for St. James, called on a double hit on the server for Austin. St. James leading now 11-4. Olsey serves the ball in, played by the back row for Austin. Rolled over, dug up nicely by Browning, but nobody's there. Point for Austin. Go ahead. The Vikings are getting ready to take the court again. They're going to be walking in front of your screen again. They're ranked number 1 in 5A. They're representing our classification in the number 1 position. Ball comes in from Austin. Served by Marilee, played by Marilee Capulla over to Olsey. Olsey to White. Ball's hitting to the net. Attack error on St. James gives Austin their 6th point. St. James leading now 11-6. Number 4 for Austin, readying to serve into St. James. Service error by Austin gives St. James their 12th point. Carson Ann Crow, number 13, goes back to serve for St. James. Crow serving on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Ball comes into the back right corner of Austin. Overpass, kill for Bailey Williams. Bailey Williams again in the right place at the right time. St. James leading now 13-6. Carson Ann Crow, number 13, still serving for St. James. Ball comes in to the right corner of the Austin defense. Hustle play, roll it to Olsey. And the St. James defense makes a campfire and lets the ball land in the court. No communication by St. James gives Austin their 7th point as St. James leads now 13-7. Low serve played by Marilee Capulla back over the net. Austin sets up there. That's a kill for the Austin attacker down the right side. Point for Austin. Alan Browning tried to get the ball up unsuccessfully. St. James leading now 13-8. Serve comes in, played by Marilee Capulla to Olsey. Back sets to Bailey Williams. Ball's hit out of bounds. Point to Austin. Ball's hit, stuck up in the stands, thrown down. We're ready to play. Austin serving into St. James. Ball comes in, played by Marilee Capulla, push to Olsey. She punches the ball over the net. Austin sets up their offense. Ball pushed out of bounds by their defender, point to St. James. St. James leads Austin now 14-9. Side out St. James, and Bailey Williams, number 14, will be serving for St. James. Nice floater serve to the back of the Austin defense. Set up. Ball pushed over to St. James. Olsey plays it to Kathleen Wright. Ashley White punches the ball over, and that's a kill for Ashley White. Kathleen Wright with the assist. Point for St. James that now leads Austin 15-9. Williams serves the ball into the back left corner of Austin defense. Ball's pushed over the defense, played nicely by Olsey. Bailey Williams comes in to play it. Carson Ann Crow punches the ball over the defense and gets a kill. That's Carson Ann Crow's 6th kill of the day, of the match. St. James leading now 16-9. Williams serves the ball into the back right corner for Austin. Overpass played by Kathleen Wright and blocked at the net. Kathleen Wright with her first block. Nice play by Kathleen, being in the right place at the right time. Score now of St. James 17, Austin 9. Bailey Williams serves the ball into the back middle of the Austin defense. Over to Capulla. Capulla back to Olsey. Ashley White rushes in and punches the ball over the net. Nicely played by Bailey Williams. She dug the ball up. Carson Ann Crow comes in to hit the ball down the line. That's a kill for Carson Ann Crow. Nice heads up play by St. James to get her in a position to hit the ball down the line. St. James leading now 18-9. Timeout Austin. Still a little indecisiveness in the St. James defense, knowing who's going to play the second ball. Ashley White with a heads-up play to rush in and punch the ball up. Carson Ann Crow to punch the ball down the left line. Again, these matches today are our best 2 out of 3, with the third set being playing to 15. St. James leads the second set 18-9. St. James won the first set over Austin 25-7. Again, our next match of the day will be against Calera, and on the schedule, our pool schedule, will be at 11 o'clock. Bailey Williams, number 14, ready to serve to Austin. Austin takes the court. Plays whistled in. Williams' serve comes into the middle of the Austin defense. They set their offense up. Rolled over, played by Carson Ann Crow to Emily Olsey. Olsey over to Marilee Kapuya. Touch at the net. Ball gotten up by Austin. Serve, cross-court attack by Austin. The ball's on St. James court. Point for Austin. That's their 10th point. St. James leads Austin now 18-10. Number 12 for Austin, ready to serve to St. James. Serve comes in, short, played by Carson Ann Crow. Punch to Emily Olsey. Olsey to Ashley White. Ball played, pushed up by Olsey. Over to Marilee Kapuya at the net. Ball punched up by Kathleen Wright. Referee calls 4 hits on St. James. That's a point for Austin. I think that's a correct call, because I don't think the Austin blockers touched the ball. St. James still leading Austin 18-11. Serve comes in, played by Marilee Kapuya, saved by Carson Ann Crow. Olsey calls it, and the ball does not make it back over the net. That's a point for Austin. A little miscommunication on St. James' side. Again, the St. James team is leading Austin 18-12. Ball served in from Austin. That looks like that's a service error for Austin, giving St. James their 19th point. St. James leading Austin now 19-12. Emily Poundstone, number 10, comes in for Ashley White. Poundstone will be serving for St. James. Poundstone serves the ball, floater serve back to the back right corner. We got a free ball for St. James, played by Carson Ann Crow. Pushes it to Poundstone to Olsey in the middle. That's a kill for Olsey. That's her 3rd kill. Nicely set up by the St. James offense for their 20th point. Poundstone serves the ball in to the middle of the defense, played by the Austin libero. Ball played by Carson Ann Crow, pushes it to Poundstone, over to Kapuya. Ball's pushed over, almost over by Austin. That's a point for St. James. The Austin libero tried to left-handedly punch the ball over the net, and it hit her 2nd ace of the match. St. James leading now 22-12. St. James leading now 23-12. Poundstone still serving. Serve comes into the middle of the Austin defense. They set up their attack. Ball's blocked by Olsey, back into the defender's face. That's a solo block for Olsey that gets us to set point. Point for Austin. There's a point for Austin. That's their 13th point. Played to Carson Ann Crow, set up to Poundstone. Kathleen Wright hits the ball over. Poundstone sets the ball up for Olsey on the left side. That's in. Olsey with a kill on the left side. That's her 4th kill of the day, of the match. Nicely set up. St. James now to set point. It's 24-13. Marilee Kapuya, number 7, serving for the set and the match. Ball comes into the middle of the Austin defense. They hustle to set up a play. Their attacker hits it into the bleachers. St. James wins the second set, 25-13. That'll end this first set. Our next match will be around 11 o'clock on our pool play schedule against Calera.